Welcome back to Escape from Pertam, where we still haven't escaped and have no current means of escape. But what we can do is work more on the rover, stay away from spiders, and construct a base to protect our scarce bit of materials from meteors. Sort of. So in the evolution of this rover, at this point, there's basically no blocks that remain untouched from our original drop pod. And if you're just catching the playthrough, yes, this used to be the traditional Space Engineer's drop pod. So far, I'm kind of hating the look of this rover. But most of the things I build usually get worse before they get better, so I'm not too worried. But I do know one thing, it needs bigger wheels. I salvaged enough components from that first Assert base where I think the rover deserves an upgrade to the 5x5 wheels. The small wheels have worked great here on Pertam, but the bigger ones will be better. Alright, I'm pretty proud of myself. I got jumped by spiders, but didn't panic. Pulled out the gun, and with a little random frantic spraying of bullets, I killed the spiders. But let's get these wheels finished and on to the next project. So I've also noticed another Assert base has shown up, and we'll go get that later, but I want to get a little more of this rover assembled, and maybe more of the base. You may have also noticed from the earlier episodes that this base has changed colors and textures over and over, and right now it's just a jumbled mess of everything. As for this rover, I've got the ladder on the roof repositioned on the side and near one of the doors. I think that'll be good. And I've also laid down a channel of reinforced conveyors in the roof to move at least the basic stone and gases from the front to the storage containers I'll have at the back. And I've got the survival kit turned around facing the inside, which is where my little interior cabin will be. I'll also tell you that these spiders are a pain. I'm trying different things out here, but they are a little special to deal with. Okay, we've got done a bit more on the rover, and I've decided to go with the stand-up control console for navigating the rover. It takes up very little room inside, and I think it'll go with the walk-around interior vibe I'm going for. So let's put it to use and go after that other Assert base. We need more material for our base, and hopefully this one will give us a metal grid or two because we desperately need those. I think I'll try going up high above the base on this bluff. Maybe I'll get some good line of sight from up here and take out those interior turrets. Kind of like being on the high ground. Well, that didn't work. The base is still pretty far away from up here, and it seems they can see me a lot better than I can see them. Yeah, that feels like death. So, time for a new plan. Okay, maybe let's get down from the plateau as we watch more meteors fall, and we'll circle back around to the bottom. We're pretty close here, about 150 meters away. Let's just poke our head up over the top and see what we can see. New idea. Let's not poke our head up over the top and try to take a look around the side. Okay, from here, I can at least see the antenna. Let me take that out first, maybe before they call in any drones. Then work on the defenses. That took a lot of shots, but it's down. Drones are our biggest concern because we have no way to fight them, and I think they'll just keep firing at us until the rover is a pile of scrap, so it's good we took out the antenna. We're pretty close, so I'm going to dig to this base the same way I did the first one and just come up underneath the thing and neutralize the defenses from the inside. The base is safe. Let's get on with the scrapping. Alright, that was a pretty successful base scrapping mission, but it was a pretty small base compared to the first one. So I think after we unload, we'll go for another one that showed up. First though, I think I'll build a little spy camera. I think being able to zoom in on these little bases from a distance will help us get a decent view of its defenses and maybe an optimal approach angle. To make this, I'm going to use a rotor and a hinge. You can also use 2 hinges or 2 rotors. It just depends on how you want the thing to spin and look around. They're also very quick to set up. Once you get the rotor and hinge down, you place a camera on the hinge part so you'll be able to see things, and then somewhere put down a custom turret control block. It doesn't matter where, you're not going to have to directly interact with the block if you don't want to. Then set the azimuth, which for us is the rotating rotor, and the elevation, which is our hinge, and you tell it which camera you want to use. You're essentially done with the setup at that point. To use it, go into any block where you have an action bar, select the custom turret control, and plop down the control action, and you're good to go. Now, let's go spying. Note, dust storms are not ideal for spying. Alright, the storm is cleared, but I feel like I'm still too far away to really see any details. Let's circle around. One change they did a release or so ago is to make it so you can still move your ship or rover and control the turret at the same time. That was a really good change. This should be a safe spot for the rover. Let's peek the hill and see what we can see. Okay, there's a turret just on that left side. We'll grab our body, then circle around to our right. Maybe we can get out of its line of sight. Oh yes, this is perfect. We'll just grind into this thing, disable all the dangerous bits, and increase our stock of components. Alright, now that everything's neutralized, let's move in for the cleanup. Now, while I was taking over the base, I saw them calling in again for drone reinforcements, just like at the other bases, but none showed up. Now, I have 2 theories for that. One is that these are pretty small and low aggression bases. They are named research or observation, more non-military in nature. So perhaps it's still early in my attacks for them to actually have reinforcements respond. Kind of like giving a grace period of 3 or 4 bases before establishing the more heavily defended and drone protected ones. The other possibility is the atmosphere of Pertam itself. It's possible the combination of a very thin atmosphere along with the high gravity might make it unsuitable for typical atmospheric drones. We saw when we crash landed on the planet that even the plateaus have very little oxygen. So we might be getting a break here on Pertam from a lot of drone assaults, which, given our current status, is a blessing. But we'll take a rover full of components back to the base and do some more work. Another big dust storm and meteors at the same time. It just keeps getting better. So I built a second-story balcony area and put the half-barrier walls up to keep me from falling out, and generally just to look like some sort of cool defended base. But it has a problem. There's spiders there on the outside of the base right now, but I can't peer over the edge enough to see them. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of the half-wall balcony. I think I'll just have to go down and deal with the spiders up close and personal. The shots are going through again. I'll have to move to draw them out and break that burrowing animation cycle. Okay, that was a jump scare. Well done, Keen, but not good enough. The spider's inventory is now mine, and we can get back to the base building. As you can see, we've added a fair bit, and it's still this mishmash of blocks, but in a way, I kind of like it for the base. It gives it some sort of Mad Max Road Warrior outpost base look, sort of thrown together from the bits and pieces of scrap, which it kind of is in a way. I will get a roof on though, because my biggest threat at this moment are the meteors. I don't want them hitting the base and making a direct impact on my cargo containers. That's where my few precious metal grids are, and I can't afford letting them get turned into scrap. Same with the rover and the survival kit, but one thing at a time. We'll also give this place some lighting, and I think some nice uplights on the ceiling will look good. I think I'll also adjust the light to a bluish color. That'll accent the ceiling where I used a gray weldless armor texture and these interior hinge and storage blocks. Yeah, that's a really nice contrast to the walls and a good techie alien planet base feel. So here's what it looks like without the dust storm and haze. We added another storage container and a bed for sleep or emergency recharging. And there it is. At least for now. We have a base, sort of, a rover remodel underway, a couple more assert bases taken, spiders killed, and a spy camera built. I think we're making progress, but we're a long way from getting off this planet, so stay tuned to see what happens because I'm formulating a plan. See you in the next episode.